Ben here with the VanLife Biker Show. Smash that like, give me a sub, and share, guys. Let's build this channel. Appreciate your support. Yo, 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 it's your boy Van with the VanLife Biker Show. Oh, excuse the mess, guys. I had to pull a bunch of stuff out of the cabinets. I got all the doors open and stuff here. We had some insulation here on the window outlets, we'll call them, if the van had windows. I went over on this side, and I'll be doing that over there on the passenger side as well. Put in an entire one piece over top of these three separate pieces, and just made it all one. So now we're 2-ply inside there, because you know, as you guys can tell, this sticks out. This goes back in here deeper, so we're still a good 1/2 inch, maybe an inch in there of space. So the plan is we're going to bring in the covering today, which will be this white stuff here that we used here. Quick glance, it's like wall paneling, like that there, so that's really going to brighten up things. Just going to cover over top of that light there that goes up to our motor battery. We won't need that anymore. And I've got a boatload of wires to deal with today, so it is going to be a long day. But just kind of wanted to give you guys pretty much a before shot. The plan is I'm going to take a drill bit and drill a bunch of holes down through this, we'll call it like a window ledge. And that'll get me down underneath the bed through this opening here. I can fish all of these wires that are hanging down here to our controller. I just got one screw holding it for now. We had it up top. And then the plan, I think, is probably going to be, I'm going to take probably a piece of some type of plywood or something and come off of the edge of this framing to our cabinets here and hang down somewhat like a board that we had up here temporarily. I had this mounted up here before, but once we put some wall covering on there, that's going to cover up our wall. I could come straight out of that, but it's just going to be tough to fish up the wall and then to be able to come out exactly where I want, guys. So a way of cheating on this and still making it look really good is we're going to have the wall covering on there. I'll probably put a 2-3 inch hole or something to bring the wires all out in the same location, say here, because we can't bring it up here. This is all solid and into our windowsill. So we'll bring it out somewhere in this area up top. And then I'm going to bring another piece of board, some type of plywood, across the face of this that'll hang down just like we've got here. And, it doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom here. We've got our butcher block countertop here covering up our water heater underneath that. So I don't think I want to come all the way down, because then it'll be in the way of the countertop. So the wall covering will come down to that. But we're just going to hang down a sheet, maybe a foot, maybe 2 foot or something. Maybe somewhere in the elevation of our dryer where this hangs down. So something like this going back up. And then I can put all of my electronics on there. We'll probably have some shut-off switches to kill power. I've got this 12 volt just tossed down into the bed here for now. Everything's temporary. That's got our refrigerator going through it, and our freezer, the heater. So we're going to have to get some things from the bottom up to the fuse panel, because that'll go on this wall as well. I got a few things that are probably going to have to come down. We've got our max air vent, that's 12 volts. We'll probably have some 12 volt lighting that still needs to be put in. So I'm guessing, maybe 6 circuits or something that'll have to come down from the top, and maybe 6 circuits at the most that will have to come up from the bottom. So as you can see there, we've got 6 on the left, 6 on the right, so this should work out perfectly. I'm kind of shooting high on the half a dozen. I don't think we're even going to need that many, but always good to have a couple spares. Probably put some USB plug-ins so we can have some that kind of action. Maybe a cigarette lighter plug. You know, definitely 12-volt lights and things that'll be up in the ceiling. We'll have to switch those, but you know, like I say, half a dozen from the top, half a dozen from the bottom. We've got the refrigerator. The freezer is underneath the bed and lifting platform. We still haven't put the hinge on this guy, but that's to come because I need to get to that heater. We're going to redo some things down there to make that heater a little safer, so I didn't want to close myself in there. But anyway, I think that about sums up the plan. I'm going to continue on. It's going to be a long day for me. It's about 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. I probably won't get this posted until Monday. I'll probably be out here late tonight. I did get the solar panel finished up top. We did get that 100% squared away. I've actually got it wired in. This is our solar feed coming down with this guy right here from the roof line. That comes in right there, guys. So that'll have to sneak over back into this. So that's another one that'll probably come down through the top of this cabinet to stab into this. So we've got some stuff with this to deal with too. Wires coming up from the bottom, wires coming in from the top. The original plan was to try to get some of this stuff in this wall. I think it would have worked out, but it's just going to be too tight to keep all the wires out of sight, out of mind. Was kind of plan A, but I think this is just going to work out a whole lot better. And the other thing is, if I need to work on something, I can always pull that piece of wood off, guys. So always kind of have to, you know, think of the future when you're doing stuff like this, because you're always going to have a extra circuit or something you want to sneak in. So it's kind of hanging off the back, but I didn't really want to shadow the other panels because, as you guys can see, it's at a different elevation. So you know, I think it turned out quite well, actually. You know, standing from the side, you can't even see it up there. From the front of the vehicle, you can't see it up there, and it does stick in slightly more than the rear bumper. So real pleased with that. Not like I'm going to back into something and hit that first. We've got the bumper, and then I'll probably always have the hitch ball sitting there anyway, so some extra protection with the hitch ball. So turned out exactly the way I had planned. And you know, we've got an extra 100 watts up there. So 3 in the front, excuse me, 3 in the front and 3 in the back. I don't know, we can back up here a little bit. There's our AC, so you guys can see. So AC was kind of in the way in the front. We did remove the rack around the AC, and we removed the other ladder rack post that are coming up from the side. So all said and done, I used the bathroom scales. Who knows how accurate that really is, but with removing the rack in the front and installing the new panel in the rear over top of the max air vent, we gained 100 watts more of power, which is going to help us in these winter months. So, you know, I have been seeing a little bit of issue with the shorter days. So, you know, the extra 100 watt panel is really going to help us a great deal in these winter months. Will get us back up to pretty much where we were, I think, with incoming power. So that's pretty cool. And I think with the rack that we took off versus the extra brackets I had to form, I showed you guys on the last video with the unistrut brackets. There's all kinds of different brackets that you guys can use for those. That's why I highly recommend those. It's just a little bit more weight versus going steel versus aluminum, but you know, you gotta be able to fabricate the aluminum. There's very limited uses as far as brackets and stuff, so you're getting into welding that stuff, and then you got to hire somebody that really knows what they're doing. I personally don't even know how to get into wiring welding the aluminum. I have never tried it myself. I can arc weld. They say that's the hardest. If you can arc weld, you can pretty much handle anything, but I just never got into it. You've got to have special gas and things to you know, work with aluminum, welding that. It's really a work of art to be able to weld aluminum, so you're looking at a high dollar guy when it's all said and done. This stuff, you can use brackets. It's cheaper than the cost of aluminum, maybe 25% heavier than what it's going to cost you to do. Aluminum rack, you can get it in thinner. This is like double strut, what they call, or not double strut. Double strut's actually back to back, just like that. So make it really thick if you had something heavy you wanted to put up there, but it's about half the size of that. This is 1 5/8 inches thick. You can get 7/8 inch thick. So if you wanted a shallower thickness, not a whole lot of weight up there. I wasn't really too much concerned about the weight with the panels, but the wind could you know, put some pressure up there. So I just didn't want to fight with issues coming loose, and figured it, you know, once again, slight weight difference, so not a whole lot of weight difference, and just a little bit heavier. So who cares? I'd rather not have to worry about it. So all said and done, I think we saved ourselves about 20 pounds by removing this extra bar we had up front and the extra unistrut that went up and around and back on the other side. And we just added an extra panel and a few more brackets up there. So it really wasn't a whole lot of weight difference that we added versus what we took off. So all said and done, I think we're about 20 pounds lighter. Aerodynamically, I think we're a whole lot better shape. I have driven it once since I did this, taking this back here from where it was up here, where a wind would come over the top on the front of the van. Then it was just smashing right into that. So aerodynamically, I think we're better, which, you know, kind of in theory, I would think we may end up getting a better fuel mileage rating as well. So just wanted to hit on that topic as well. I'll give you guys some updates along the way as we're putting in all this stuff. We've got a big, huge day today, so bear with me, bear with the mess. It's just going to be one of those days, but that's kind of why I've been putting all this stuff off. I knew a lot of crimps and things, so things like, you know, putting all these stake-on crimps and things that I need to put on today. I've got some bigger lug type. If I got some bigger stuff I need to splice. So just some looks at some of these things that you know, you guys might need to prepare yourselves if you're getting into such a thing. These are hole saws, allow you to drill different size holes, you know, different size lugs, and all this stuff that you'll need to make this happen. So kind of why I put it off till last, to be honest. And typical, you know, auto mechanic drives around in a piece of junk car because he never wants to fix his own car. So this is what I do for a living. So honestly, I've just kind of dreaded doing it. I have more satisfaction, I guess, more fun doing things that I don't do on an everyday basis. So, you know, fabricating all this wood and these cabinets and things that I've done over the last couple years almost now. Putting the fan in, put the AC unit in, put the ceiling in. All that stuff was just a lot more enjoyable to me just because it's different. So, you know, the wall coverings and stuff, this is really going to brighten things up in here a lot. And once we get that 12-volt fuse panel from underneath and put up top into a permanent position, it's really going to be cool because I'll be able to get some lighting in here. So we're going to get some can lights up top. I do have some of that stuff laying around. See if we can access some of that. So I think I've shown this type of stuff in the past videos. There's a can light there, what they call a can light in a residential home. So we'll have these up here in the top. So we're going to get some of that stuff going and actually be able to see a lot better in here too, because it's tough seeing in here because there's no windows in the back. So kind of limited to the windshield light and the slider door light for now. So it will be nice to be able to get some of these wires I've got kind of draped everywhere hooked up and get things going. I had the max air vent hooked up before, which is this guy here, why he's got some crimps on him. So we're going to bring that over down. That's one of the ones that I have to come from the top. Get that plugged back into our 12 volt fuse panel and get that fired back up. So we'll keep you posted, as I said. I think that about sums it up. We got to get 12 volts to that guy. That's our oven hood that's underneath, over top our stove down here. That's stuffed underneath the bed that folds back up. So kind of give you guys a little tour as well as we're going through all of this. We got the drawer out on the top. There's a couple drawers there, wash machine, washer dryer. Here's our fridge. Pretty good sized fridge. Sits way up above the driver's seat back. It's a, you know, a lot bigger than your standard dorm fridge, so highly recommend this one. We got a television up here, microwave above the driver or passenger seat, you know, our faucet, blah blah blah. So give you guys kind of a once over while we're here anyway. I've got this plugged in temporarily, so this is just since we're on the grid, instead of wasting fuel at $4 a gallon for diesel right now, since fuel prices have skyrocketed. They're saying that fuel prices are cheap right now for some reason. I guess cheap from what they were at $4 a gallon, but far from the $2 we were paying. I love how they do that. So, you know, $1 a day at the most for this. Probably around $15-20 a week to run on the diesel, depending on what price you pay for the diesel. So $7 a day figure versus, you know, $15-20 a day. So a lot cheaper just running that on the grid and not having to worry about it. So I just sneak an extension cord out here. We've been in the teens at night, so just keeping everything warm, keeping our batteries up to par and such. So all right, guys, we'll keep you guys posted. This is going to be a long one for me and you. See you in a bit. Okay, guys. Man, it's probably a week or maybe even more from when we started this. So this is definitely going to be maybe a 2, possibly 3-part video. So we'll just label this one part 1 for now. We've been battling rain every day. High winds. We actually got some snow the other night. So I did a shorts video earlier telling everybody Merry Christmas and such, and little update on the bad weather coming in again. But we got our nipples put into this piece of paneling. I just wanted to show this. I'm going to bring the wiring up into the, we'll call it the window frame that would normally be there. And I'll bring the, it's kind of a control unit for the alternator. It's kind of an all-in-one, guys. I really like that thing made by Renogy. But they're heavier gauge wires. Some go to the batteries, to the battery bank, the alternator. Another set goes up to the solar panels, and you know, you got your positives and grounds and such. So this here, I just, you know, using stuff I got laying around, to be honest. I wish I had some more of these here laying around. These, same thing here, this just little plastic bushing that screws on, but everything will be fine. It's 12 volts is what's going to come through there to hook up our fuse panel. And I think even 1 or 2 of these were actually, see, these are actually actual nipples made for this. This was a connector. So I cut the end of the connector off. I think it was a flex connector or something I had going on there. So just took a file and filed things down. So just showing you guys the process of that. You want to get some nipples to make this happen. You could even go with PVC. They make such a thing, or just get what they call a MA, which is short for male adapter, and that'll have the threads on it, and then the other end would actually glue a piece of PVC pipe to it, but you could cut that off just like I did with this guy. It was a connector for something else, and shorten it up just to use it as a chase nipple. Be a lot cheaper as well. Like I say, I had this stuff just laying around because I'm in the trades, but that would probably be the cheapest route to go, is go with PVC, because it's definitely going to be cheaper than metal. So we'll get another look at the inside of the van, and I'll just kind of show you guys how we're going to do this, and then we'll pick up with another video on part 2. So we'll see you here in a second. Once we're in the van, I'll show you how we're going to route this stuff. I've got another piece of plywood I'm going to actually put the stuff on, so it's going to come through here, and then I'll have another piece of wood here with the actual instrumental stuff mounted to that, so it'll just kind of sneak through that piece of wood. I think it'll be fine. Just being exposed, if you wanted to put it in a cabinet or something, you could go to that extent, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to make it kind of nice and neat and exposed. It's an art as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you make it look good, people like to see it. So we'll get you here in the van in a second. Okay guys, we're out in the van here now. We got our 12-volt fuse panel set up here. The feeders are hooked up. The other little holes there on the sides, that'll be for all of our branch circuits. Over here on this side here, we will have all the high voltage thing. Actually, we're kind of upside down, so maybe I should flip this. But so yeah, over here on the right side, looking at it now, the fuses will be on the left. This guy here will be over on the right. That's the all-in-one that I was talking about earlier. Goes to your alternator, which will give you a charge from your alternator when the motor's running, and you can see it flashing there. That means we're getting a charge from the solar panels. The alternator light would be flashing there on the left. I think it's actually constant lit when the truck starts up, so that'll get you a charge from there. It actually flashes from time to time because once your battery bank is full, it actually sends a trickle charge up to the motor battery. So this thing is pretty nifty. Takes a lot of the electrical brain thinking out of it. You pretty much have 3 hots. One to the alternator, one to the battery bank, and one to your solar panels, and then all of your grounds hooked there on the top right. Hence why we got 3 going to that one. A couple control wires. That's the other little phone cable adapters, just for one's a Bluetooth, and what's the other one? It's like the control unit or something. So we've got wires coming down from the top. So what I'll do is probably put some 2x2 up in here just to kind of fur this out slightly. And then that'll basically put these in a wall. And that's where this guy will come down. We're going to screw that to the 2x2s after we fur this out a little bit in between the wires. So that'll bring this down in front of the actual board that we're putting in with the nipples. So we're coming up from the bottom down here. As you can see, I put a bunch of plastic snap-in bushings, they call those. So for 1/2-inch electrical, they're just plastic. Work really great. I was able to get a 7/8 hole saw in there, and that's the outside diameter. So that's the hole hole saw size you want to use for the interior will be 1/2 inch. So we'll sneak all our wires up from the bottom that are coming from the bottom of the van, and these are all coming from the top of the van. They'll come through the nipples that we got in that piece of paneling that are coming up and out. These will be brought in there as well through the nipples, and then we'll just clean this all up on this board here, guys. So we're just going to take them, you know, through their individual holes right to the exact terminals that they need to go to, and just make it look clean. You know, I'm not looking to win a award or anything here, but I do want it to look halfway decent because it is mine. The main thing is just wire gauge sizes and things like that. You want everything's to be safe, and with safety, you know, you want cleanliness, you know, next to cleanliness is godliness, they say, right? So we want to keep everything as clean as possible once we terminate all this stuff. So I think that's going to sum it up for this part. Once we get a little deeper in depth into this, I'll show you how you guys, how we're going to hook up the terminals and what goes to what. We'll just kind of go over some information on this stuff, maybe some wire sizes versus amperages, and why I did what I did and what I used versus what you may use. Do your own research as usual, but you know, safety's on my priority. I do this stuff for a living. It's not something that I play with every day on DC voltage. A lot of AC current is more my definite expertise, but it's something that we dabble in from time to time for sure. I have taken classes and things on solar, but not something I really wanted to dabble in, so I never really went and got certified in the solar industry. I just got the education and ran with that. It's not really something I wanted to pursue at my age. Playing around with pieces of glass out in the desert wasn't really my cup of tea. So anyway, I think that'll sum this video up. We'll try to get this one out today. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to you. Hope the best for you and your family. Stay safe and all that good stuff. If it's your first time viewing the channel, hit the like and subscribe if you don't mind. We're just, you know, average Joe doing a van build here, and trying to do the best we can as we go, and you know, trying to teach my way of doing things. And if you see something that you might do differently, and you want to have some conversation about that, or you know, might just have some questions or something, you can always leave that stuff in the comments. I always try to get back to you guys pretty quick. So till next time, like, subscribe, and you know, share on other platforms. We're I think it's about 275 or so subs now. So you know, we're growing slowly but surely, and hopefully by the time we get out on the road, have been fighting some health issues. Those of you that know me a little more personally, I am active on Twitter. So I keep in touch with you folks out there. That's at XRPDT. You can find me over there, VanLife Biker. So, you know, it's just health issues that everybody has to deal with. So we're kind of held up on blast off anyway, which kind of saves me a little bit of time on rushing to get this thing done. And so we're kind of taking a little slower approach than we would need to get this thing up and going so we can hit the road. I'm waiting on doctor's appointments and such, and got some cataracts issues too, so something else that's going to need to be addressed after my blood pressure issues. So till next time, this is Van with VanLife Biker, and thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks guys, appreciate you. Peace.